The weird, creepy, and disturbing internet horror iceberg. Momo. Does this image ring any bells? It should. It was all over the news in 2019. News stations were calling it the Momo Challenge. Others were calling it a suicide game.
This image may pop up in the middle of a kid's YouTube video, and it's not only disturbing, it's potentially dangerous.
I think it's actually really frightening.
It's called the Momo Challenge, and it urges kids to participate in challenges through the WhatsApp messaging app. Challenges that could lead to self-harm.
They were reporting that this Momo character was trying to contact children via Epstein-like ways and having them add a number on WhatsApp. And once in contact, they would be sent a series of challenges that could involve self-harm or even suicide. Parents would immediately start to freak out and call for anything related to this character to be banned. Parents would start seeing Momo appear as their kids watched Peppa Pig.
Ooh, a wasp! Hello, I am Momo. Your worst nightmare. I am gonna kill you. I will kill you. At night I'll come when you're in your bed, and in the morning you'll be dead.
Played Fortnite, or anything really that their child interacted with. It was so bad, governments sent out alerts and celebrities pleaded for Momo to be banned. But was any of this true? The short answer, no. There have been no official deaths linked with Momo, but the rumor at the time was that the Momo Challenge was believed to be behind the death of 2 teenagers in Colombia. According to the data collected by local authorities, a 12-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy ended their lives after playing the terrifying game. It was reports like this that allowed this urban legend to explode. News stories picked it up and would try to make it bigger than it was for them views. Parents, being internet illiterate, would latch on to these stories thinking it's all real. Meanwhile, everyone else saw it for what it was, a giant hoax. They would entertain the legend of Momo and make news stations and parents look like idiots. Hell, I mean, the picture of Momo is actually just a Japanese sculpture by Keisuke Aiso. The first picture of it started appearing online around 2016 when it was publicly displayed. The sculpture, sadly, is no more. It was thrown away in 2018 after it had started to fall apart. Dining room where there is nothing. This is a 2006 video by David B. Earl. The video is simple, but very uncanny and makes you feel uneasy throughout the whole thing. The video was made to be looped, with the woman saying there is nothing in reverse and normally. The creator said that the video is a commentary on the empirical nature of humanity and our desire to understand what follows our earthly death. To me, it's just plain creepy. It's just a reminder to like and subscribe. Then drowned. This is one of the most famous creepypastas to date. It all started back in 2010, when a story about a haunted copy of The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask appeared online. The story was about a college student named Jaduzable, who ends up buying a used copy of The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask from an old creepy man at a yard sale. The cartridge already has a save file named Ben. After trying to delete it, strange things start happening. The game completely bugs out. NPCs speak weirdly, areas appear wrong, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue follows the player. You eventually learn Ben was the ghost of a dead child trapped in the game. But here's the cool part. This creepypasta is actually an ARG. Through ciphers, hidden audio, and codes, this became something much more, with secret cults, ritual murder, and The Legend of Zelda. This all started back in 2010 and would finally come to an end in 2020. This whole story became so iconic that things that are actually in the game became more associated with this story instead. Obey the Walrus. This is a video that, at first glance, seems rather unsettling, but once you learn the background behind it, it becomes pretty sad. Clips that were used in the video actually come from a 1994 film called The Goddess Bunny. The film goes over the underground LA transgender, lesbian, and gay nightclub scene. In the film, a big focus is on Sandra Crisp, or the Goddess Bunny. Crisp was born as a man in 1960, but would go on to transition into a woman in the later 70s. Shortly after her birth, she would contract polio, causing her to be disabled. Later in her life, her parents would divorce, and she would be sent to various foster homes and experience a lot of physical and sexual abuse. After graduating high school, she would go on to try and make it in the entertainment industry, which would eventually lead to the documentary The Goddess Bunny. In the mid-2000s, clips from this documentary would start being uploaded to the internet, but it wouldn't really explode until it was posted on a YouTube channel called Obey the Walrus, with the title Obedece a la Morsa, or Obey the Walrus. It got so popular that it even got its own creepypasta. According to the creepypasta, the video's origins is a mystery, and it's often attributed to a Latin American cult called La Morsa, or the Walrus. In this cult, it's said that the walrus will be there to protect the earth from demonic forces. But no matter what, you must obey the walrus. Looking at this now, it's not creepy or scary. It's actually just rather sad and depressing. Blank Room Soup. Blank Room Soup, or also known as Freaky Soup Guy, is a really disturbing video. It shows a man in an empty room eating soup when these costume people, called Ray Ray,
Hey, what are you doing?
Uncle Ray Ray's got a game. You wanna play with Uncle Ray?
come in and start petting him as he cries and eats the soup. The video was uploaded in 2005 to YouTube and also had a follow-up called Soup Torture. The lore behind these videos is that Ray Ray kidnapped this man, killed his wife and child, made them into a soup, and forced him to eat it. Now, obviously, that's not true. The real history is still a mystery. Sort of. The costumes belonged to a man named Raymond Percy, and the original channel that the videos were uploaded to also belonged to Raymond. But according to an interview Raymond did with a YouTuber called Rainbot, the Ray Ray costumes were actually stolen from him. And weeks after they were stolen, someone emailed him the blank soup video, and he uploaded it with the description, "We don't know what this is." And that's where we are today. No one knows the exact origins of this video, but there are plenty of theories. The one I subscribe to is that this was all done by Raymond. He was a very accomplished artist, having worked for Disney, The Simpsons, and plenty of other works. And if I know anything about artists, they like to make some weird things. So he probably made this video and gave the fake story to Rainbot, so this internet mystery or this art piece could live on. I feel fantastic. In the early 2010s, videos with this creepy android started making their rounds on the internet. And it's no shock as to why. The uncanny look and movements of the android did nothing but creep people out. And the lyrics that it was singing definitely didn't help. Eventually, rumors would start to spread on the origins of this creepy ass video. The most common one was that it was made by a serial killer, and the killer would dress the doll up in his victim's clothing. Now, as plausible as that sounds, it's nowhere near close to the truth. This creepy doll is actually an animatronic called Tara the Android, and was created by a man named John Bergeron. All the footage from the music video, I Feel Fantastic, comes from a DVD called Android Music Videos 1, which was made by John. He built Tara for around $2,000 in 2003, and wanted to help bootstrap the Android industry. He wasn't a serial killer. He was just a man very passionate about androids, robots, and animatronics, and wanted to help lead the way. I have seen plenty of rumors that John passed away in 2005, but the website to buy the DVDs is still active, and apparently still shipping them out. r/I'm sorry, John. This is a rather small subreddit, but with a somewhat dedicated following. The subreddit is all based on Garfield. The description reads, expel your shadow human form and offer it up to the new Garfield. Garfield has abandoned his limited form and is beautiful. Surrender yourself to him and be saved. Here, we celebrate our favorite cosmic entity with catitude. The subreddit seems to have started with an artist named William Burke, and this image. This and the other images he made got so popular, it ended up spawning the subreddit. And that was like 8 years ago. Today, the subreddit isn't as popular as it once was, but some of the art on there is still pretty cool and creepy, especially if you like that Eldritch horror and Garfield mix. Hi, Walter. Hi, Walter. I got a new GF today. Was uploaded in 2009.
Hi, Walter. I was at the mall today and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl.
At first, it seems like a simple video. Some guy excitedly talks about his new girlfriend, but then it very quickly takes a dark turn.
I brought her back to my place, and I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm gonna show you her anyways. You ready?
This video became a sorta urban legend on the internet. It would be spread around and around and talked about all over the place. Many thinking it was real. And until 2016, it was just this dark video on the internet. When someone started doing Reddit-style detective work and made the assumption that the girl in the video was a 15-year-old Kayla Berg, who prior to the video being posted, vanished after being dropped off at her boyfriend's house in Wausau, Wisconsin. Everyone immediately jumped on this, even Berg's mother. She told a local TV station that she believes the girl in the video is her daughter, saying, "It sounded like her, looked like her, it gave me chills." So this started getting out of hand really fast. The local police department would eventually look into the video and would release this statement. October 12th, 2016. The Antigo Police Department was able to verify that the YouTube video, "Hi Walter, it's me Patrick," was a fake video and does not relate to an actual abduction or any illegal activity. The Antigo Department was able to make contact with the producer of the short clip and the two actors in the video. We determined that they produced the video as a series of videos and posted this one in October of 2009. They did not intend to depict any references to our missing Kayla Berg. Now, even after this statement, people still believed that the video was real, with many in the comments saying that the video was not fake and that the police need to do a better job and look into it more. Now, the video is obviously fake, but the woman that everyone thought was in the video, Kayla Berg, is very much real, and sadly, her case still remains unsolved to this day. Dear David. Dear David is a Twitter story, or X story, I just refuse to call it X, it sounds so stupid, about a ghost haunting a man called Adam Ellis. He talks about his weird experiences and the ghost of a child that's trying to kill him. He describes the ghost as being a child with a misshapen head and a huge dent in it. He then has a dream where he meets a girl and she tells him about David. She explains that you can ask David 2 questions as long as you start with "Dear David," but you are to not ask it a third or he will kill you. So the next time he sees David, he asks him how he died. David says there was an accident in a store. Adam then asks what happened in the store, to which David says a shelf was pushed on his head. Then Adam, just completely forgetting the rules of this game, stupidly asked who pushed the shelf. After realizing what he had done, he wakes up. But nothing happens at first, and time eventually goes by, and he somehow forgets about David, until weird things start to happen. His cats start staring at a door at midnight, every night. He sees movement out of his peephole. He uploads countless photos and videos to back up his claims. He eventually even used an app to record sound while he slept and recorded this audio. Adam even ended up buying a Polaroid camera and decided to take pictures with it. The results were disturbing. Blacked out photos and eerie things in others. Eventually, David started to reappear in his dreams, but nothing was happening. Things just kept getting weirder and weirder. His cats kept going to the door earlier and earlier. He got calls from unknown numbers. Things started to move in his apartment when no one was there. These shenanigans would go on for months, until he captured these photos on his camera. The story continues to go on, and eventually seems to end with David jumping on Adam, and I guess essentially becoming him, or merging with him. Or at least that's what I got from it. But the story just kind of tapers off. Now, was any of this real? No, obviously not. It's obviously just a creepy story. It seems like it's just an ARG. The creator, Adam Ellis, is an artist and a writer who worked for BuzzFeed at the time. He also even ended up getting a movie deal because of these tweets. So, do with that information what you will. The backrooms. I mean, we have to talk about the backrooms, especially with the movie coming out. Things all started on 4chan. Someone posted on the paranormal board asking people the most disturbing images that just feel off. And accompanied with the post was this image. The one that would forever be associated with the backrooms. In the thread, someone would go on to give birth to the lore behind it, saying, if you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old, moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights and maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you. Now, once this concept got tossed onto the internet, people loved it. It would soon spawn its own fandom and grow from there. There are plenty of games, videos, and like I said, even a movie. But one thing that puzzled people about the backrooms for a long time was the origin of this photo. The photo had been around for a while, well before it was used on that thread. But until 2024, it was a mystery. In a dedicated Discord for the backrooms, they were able to track down the origin of this photo. The photo is of 807 Oregon Street, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Yeah, random, right? I guess it kind of fits for the whole backrooms thing in a weird way. Originally, this location was owned by Ronner's Home Furnishings, but in 2003 was bought out by a hobby shop. In 2002, it underwent renovations, and the progress was all photographed. In March of 2003, the photos would be added to the Oshkosh renovation weblog. In it included the photo DSC00161.jpg, or as it was described, above is the original view of the East Oval Room. Notice no windows are visible. You cannot see it in the picture the extent of the water damage, but it was there, requiring all the materials to come out. The original room that was the spawn for the backrooms would eventually be changed completely and replaced with a racetrack. Gregory's Room. This was a video uploaded back in 2013 that claims to be a clip from a 1999 Nick Jr. pilot titled Gregory's Room. It's claimed that this show would ultimately be rejected due to poor focus group test results. The video doesn't even start off good. The whole thing is unnerving.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Hello, I'm Gregory, and this is my room. We're going to have so much fun together, just the two of us. We can look at the stars together. We can read a book together. we can stare into the glorious flames of the fireplace together. But no matter what we do, it will just be the two of us, alone in this room. Just me and you, no parents, no police, no one can hear you. Embrace me. I need love. Gregory needs love.
Blue Channel Phallicin. This was a video uploaded in 2021 by the YouTuber Gooseworks. The video at first seems to be like any of those old commercials you would see on late night TV about some random drug. But in the video, it's about a drug called phallicin. This drug is said to make you feel various emotions. And in the beginning of the video, it just seems like any other low quality commercial from the time. But as it gets to the end, it starts to talk about emotions that don't exist.
With phallicin.
Now, this is not an ARG. The creator even said so. No more ever came from this. And it was just a short analog horror video. The creator even went on to say that they're kinda done with analog horror, and this might be it for the Blue Channel. They said, quote, "Since I don't know if I'm gonna continue the Blue Channel, I figure I should just tell you that the lore is basically just Rick and Morty, interdimensional cable that one TV was able to connect to in the 90s. And all its content is being recorded on tapes by a research facility. And honestly, I like it. Not everything needs a long and lengthy story spread out through various videos and random websites. Sometimes something small like this is perfect." Shed 17, Project G1. Shed 17 and Project G1 is about all things Thomas the Tank Engine. It's made to be a documentary type video in this universe, exposing the past. In the videos, they mention Hitler, biological experiments, and horrors beyond our comprehension. Oh, and a little bit of racism. The documentary tells us that it all started in 1939 with a German scientist, Wilhelm Gotz, who escaped Nazi Germany with his family and settles on Sodor Island after World War II. His son Hans later develops biofussion, a technology that merges living tissue with machinery. Hans' son Thomas grew up loving trains since they lived right on Sodor's railway system. And I'm assuming if you put two and two together, you see where this is going. After Thomas was killed by a train in 1978, Hans and Wilhelm secretly used biofusion on him. A year later, Thomas returns as a living tank engine, shocking the world. I mean, yeah, I'd be pretty shocked too if a train just started talking. Maybe Indians can talk to trains. That's why they're always getting so fucking close to them. Public demand for the biofusion explodes. But when the family refuses to expand it, Sir Topham Hatt seizes control of the technology and pushes mass experimentation. The biofused engines are forced into railway labor, causing horrific accidents and instability. Hans resigns in disgust, and Wilhelm ends it all. In 1983, disasters escalate. Gordon explodes. Henry the helicopter crashes, and Henry is effectively sent to be destroyed after witnessing something disturbing in Shed 17. Thomas eventually investigates Shed 17 and discovers grotesque failed experiments made from his DNA. He learns he is not the original Thomas, but a clone created through biofusion. The revelation causes his body to rupture, exposing his mutilated biological interior. story ends with text explaining that biofusion was banned in Europe in 1984. Sir Topham Hatt was on the run, and Thomas survived, only through repeat reconstruction surgeries while confined to a specialized medical unit. Project G1 follows the same story. It expands on the lore and has the army fighting a trained human abomination. That's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie.
The reality of the situation sunk in, government forces were deployed. This would be the only line of defense.
I wasn't expecting to enjoy these as much as I did, but if you're like me and you enjoyed Thomas the Tank Engine growing up, you might actually really like these. Witch in Saudi Arabia. This is an early to mid 2010s video that popped up in what appears to be Saudi Arabia. In the video, we see a white figure of some sort standing there menacingly.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Then, as the cameraman is panicked with fear, it sprints towards him in an unhuman-like way.
Look there! Look up the sayara!
It eventually lets off a horrific scream, and it ends. This video has no explanation, only countless theories. Some say that it was indeed a real witch. News broadcast apparently reported that the person filming fell off a cliff to his death. Other people say it was all a prank. According to the Arabic side of YouTube, this is a prank agreed upon between the driver and the guy pretending to be an old man, and this is an old prank, by the way. It's been going on for 10 to 15 years. No exaggeration. Back then, this road was a single lane, as you can see, and they called it Bride's Road, and everybody made up their own story about it. Now, because this video comes from that part of the world, it's hard for me, a dumb American, to really get to the bottom of it. But it does seem like this was just a prank of some kind. Considering if this was an actual witch, the Saudi government would probably have taken action. Because they consider witchcraft and sorcery punishable by death, they probably would have got on this. No Through Road. In 2009, a video camera belonging to 4 teenagers en route to Stevenage, England, was found in their car, along with all 4 of their bodies. The footage eventually made its way online. It showed the entire thing unedited, leading all the way up to the boys' death. The footage starts off normal, just a group of boys being boys,
Guys being dudes.
until they eventually seem to get lost and end up going in circles. But they don't panic. They just simply try to figure out where they are. When one of them spots a mysterious man seemingly watching them.
Steve! Get back in! Drive! What's what? What's the matter, man? What? What the fuck's the matter? What the hell? Stop joking. Stop being a brick, man. This isn't funny.
Oh, there was someone, and he was like wearing some sort of mask.
The mystery of their disappearance only gets weirder and weirder as the footage continues. Towards the end of the footage, we finally see who is suspected to be the boys' killer. A man wearing a hat and a mask. The final bit of footage shows the ultimate fate of the boys.
It's not me. I can't.
Turn the bloody lights on! What the fuck? What? No! Turn! What are you doing?
Now, if you can't tell by now, this isn't real. It was a short film directed by filmmaker Stephen Chamberlain. The film shows the boys stuck in a time loop and was made to be in the style of a found footage horror movie, taking inspiration from The Blair Witch Project, Inland Empire, and The Strangers. The one thing that I actually really liked about this film, other than how creepy it was, is just how real it feels. All the boys behave like actual people, and not some stupid horror movie character.
I see a roundabout. I see trees. That's it.
You can actually believe that these people are real. That's probably why it's so disturbing. Clip 095. This is a reference to an ARG from 2011 from the YouTube channel Found on the Tape, with only 3 videos being uploaded: clip 094, clip 095, and clip 084. In these videos, we see random things in old VHS quality, some rather creepy and some mundane. But the interesting part were the codes that were left in. When deciphered, they all led to a download link. And here's the cool part. It was a game file for Half-Life 2. Even messaging the channel's email gave you a response with a new download link with a new map. After all this is when the final video was uploaded, clip 084. When this clip was uploaded, 10 random people were messaged the next map. And the final map was given as a binary code posted on the channel. And after that, that's it. That's all we have. Even to this day, it still remains unsolved. There are plenty of theories as to why. One is that the creator just gave up and didn't want to continue anymore. There were rumors about him emailing people and saying that they were solving things too quickly and he just couldn't keep up, which caused him to just eventually stop the whole thing. Other people say it's still unsolved, but we're just too late. Any relevant website or link would be long gone by now. Whatever the case, this ARG will probably forever remain unsolved. Gregory 88. Greg,
Come on, Craig.
or I should say Gregory 88, was a Twitter user that basically documented the strange events that happened in his house. It all started on October 29th, 2018. Prior to that, his account was fairly normal. But on that day, he tweeted out, "Something weird is happening in the woods outside my house, and I don't know what to do." The house wasn't his, and was inherited from his grandpa who recently passed away. The house was isolated in the woods, and he was only planning on staying there until he could sell it. After his initial tweet, he would update everyone constantly with strange happenings going on. One of the first things that happened was these weird wooden objects with bones being left at his door. He soon starts to notice more and more of these objects. He also finds clothing and camp supplies scattered around his house. By this point, he starts to get nervous, and for good reasons. He ends up spotting a person staring at his house and capturing this image. The person would disappear into the woods, but would reappear later standing in front of his house. Days after this incident, Greg is obviously on edge, and he tries to collect himself whenever he can at the lake, where he notices a boat seemingly monitoring him. At this point, he notices something in the water, and he picks it up to find an eyeball. After this, he takes a break from posting, and when he comes back, he tells everybody about the sounds that he hears at night, and the insides of some type of animal that he found outside. The story just gets creepier and more mysterious from here. Notes are left at his door that say leave. He continues to spot that person randomly in the woods, and even possibly inside his own house. As it turns out, that person was actually trying to protect Greg, making those wooden charms and scattering them around to keep him safe from something inside the lake. The creature in the lake grants everyone around the area abnormally long lives, but at a cost. A human cost. The children of the residents. Determining to stop this for some weird reason, like why would you not just GTFO, like do airplanes, cars, hell, a bicycle? Like, has he even paid taxes on this land yet? Is it even his? But White Knight Greg decides he needs to do something. And for some reason, he just runs off into the woods and uses his phone to capture these images of the supposed creatures living in the lake. But obviously just running into the woods like a maniac with no plan isn't going to accomplish anything, and he was unable to stop them. Greg then vows to do whatever it takes to put an end to this. And that's where the story ends. Obviously, this isn't real and it's just a horror story, but the way it's told towards the beginning and the images along with it are pretty peak. Unfortunately, that's it. Everyone thought that after a year or two around the same time, we would get updates, but nada. Coldness in my heart. If you don't like gory stuff, I'd advise you as a professional dumb YouTuber to not look into this. In the early 2010s, there was a pretty big self-harming scene on Tumblr, and it's exactly what it sounds like. People would document them hurting themselves, some going much farther than others. One user was called Coldness in My Heart, who was a German girl named Joanne. She would show photos of her self-harm, and my god, it's bad. Her legs look like they're nothing but scar tissue. The images I'm showing are just the tip of the iceberg, and I have to blur like majority of it. In others, there's blood. So much blood. I'm pretty sure I saw bone in one. It was at that point I noped out right there and have no interest on ever looking into these ever again. Now, there are a lot of theories surrounding this. A lot of them say that she was on some type of drug to be able to handle this amount of pain and to be able to handle this amount of blood loss. And possibly her boyfriend was enabling all of this. As far as I can tell, no one really knows her ultimate fate. Some say she got help and got better. Others say she succumbed to her injuries. All I know is that if you're in a similar situation to her, please seek help. Haunted Library. This one, I'm pretty sure, is talking about the William Public Library in Indiana. The library is now over 150 years old. It dates all the way back to the later 1870s, and a man named William Carpenter. The library is said to be haunted, and one of the more famous ghosts in this library is called the Gray Lady, who is thought to be Louise Carpenter, the daughter of William. The first sighting was all the way back in 1937. According to the website, a custodian was tending the boiler fire, which was, at the time, just a standard early morning task at the library. He sensed he wasn't alone. Naturally, he reached for his flashlight, expecting a coworker, or perhaps an unhoused patron that the library kept warm in the winter nights. Instead, he found himself face to face with a semi-transparent woman in a long Victorian dress. Since then, staff and patrons alike have reported all sorts of unexplained experiences. Books casually falling off shelves, footsteps with no identifiable owner, a potent fragrance, often described as lilac, lavender, or an old-fashioned perfume, chairs being moved on their own, and light bulbs flickering and flashing even after they've been freshly replaced. In 1999, the library would start to put cameras up, and as of today, there are 6 that you can watch live. Yes, this library is constantly live streaming, so you can go on to their website and click on any webcam and try to spot a ghostly ghoul. One famous example that they show as unexplainable is this image. According to the site, on August 20th of 2018, forever known as Strange Energy Day, a group was meeting in the billiard room when their computers suddenly decide to improvise with technical issues. At the exact moment, the elevator apparently needed a break and got stuck. Later, staff closed the building as usual. Out in the parking lot, they noticed that the lights in these special collections stubbornly stayed on. The seasoned librarian was fairly certain he had turned them off, because leaving lights on isn't something he would normally do. 2 employees ventured back inside. The alarm was disarmed, one librarian went upstairs to flick off the lights, and they reset the alarm at 8:08 p.m. before finally leaving. At 8:11 p.m., after everyone had finally exited, it was believed that the stairway ghost cam captured the Gray Lady herself descending the stairs from these special collections. There are other images that people bring up with this library, but majority of them have been debunked. Even the library itself will say so. So if you're in the US and you're watching this at night, click on a camera. You'll never know what you might see. A ghostly ghoul, a spirit, an apparition, a drunk homeless man. Who knows? Asuba Bawana. YouTube is known for having these weird rabbit holes and dark corners that you need specific phrases to access. I mean, if you know the right phrases and words, you can basically find porn. There's a lot of stuff like that, and much worse. One such phrase is Asuba Bawana. Searching this up on YouTube will give you plenty of results, and a lot of those deal with gore. One playlist features nothing but some of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. I don't do good with gore, so that's when I stopped looking. Now, I can't show you this for obvious reasons, but somehow, all of this is allowed on YouTube. But I've had videos taken down for much less, but that's a discussion for a different day. Anyway, this phrase, Asuba Bawana, has to deal with Buddhism, and it basically is like a form of meditation to help get rid of desire and lust. Now, what that has to do with extreme gore is still a little bit up in the air, but I think I have a couple explanations. One, these videos are to show you what humans truly are. An example that I saw was that you may be attracted to someone's eyes, but seeing that eye gouged out, you'd find disgusting. That kind of crazy thinking. The other explanation I saw was that it's for people who have like extreme lust. When they feel those urges start to pop up, they would meditate while watching these videos to make it go away. I mean, you could just take a cold shower or just like flex a muscle, any muscle, for like 30 seconds, but nah, let's go straight to gore. Whatever the reason for these videos, I just want to know why it's allowed on YouTube. This is a YouTube channel that's called Angry Neighbor, but in reverse. At first glance, the channel seems to be someone documenting his neighbors and their noise. But looking more into it, you soon realize he has almost 8,000 videos documenting these supposed noises. The videos can range from hours long to just a minute, and they are all very similar in that there really isn't any loud noises, just simple background noise you would hear literally anywhere. One video people find especially creepy is this one, where a little over halfway through, you can hear what appears to be kids talking and footsteps. And from the way that the sound just is, it indicates that the camera is hidden, or at least close by to the children, to be able to pick up the noise that way. Now, this channel has never been explained, and the owner has seemingly disappeared. The most common theories to explain this channel are that this person was on drugs of some sort, and just hallucinating these noises that only he could hear. Or the more disturbing one, he had some kind of mental condition, and he really was hearing the noises in his head. I genuinely think this channel wasn't an ARG or a prank, but was run by someone just simply not well. Maybe they finally got the help they needed, or maybe things took a turn for the worse. The Fifth Nail. This is a blog of convicted American serial killer and PDF file Joseph Edward Duncan III. The name of this blog comes from the legend around the fifth nail forged for the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, intended to pierce his heart. The blog, though, is anything but holy. In it, he describes his crimes and his thoughts during it, and he does not hold back at all. I don't want to read you guys anything about an actual victim, so I'll give you this quote. My intention was to kidnap, rape, and murder as many children as I could before getting caught. If I was going to be punished for something, I wanted to make sure it was something worth getting punished for. Now, if you've never heard of this man, you're probably better off. It's said he killed between 5 to 8 people, raped 3 to 16, and molested 1 to 7. He was eventually caught and sentenced to death, but died on March 28 of 2021 at the age of 58 from a brain tumor, which I think is getting off way too easy. They should have just taken him out back and shot him like the animal he is. But the rest of the blog gets really descriptive, and he talks a lot about what he did to certain people, children, and it's bad. 4chan baboon story. This was a 4chan thread from all the way back in 2006, and for a long time, it was merely a rumor talked about with this creepy image. The thread reads, "Dear B, over the last 5 nights, I have had a reoccurring nightmare. In one night, it even reoccurred at least 3 times over a period of 5 hours, in which I am hungry and go to the kitchen in the middle of the night for a snack. During these dreams, I am convinced that I actually woke up from my sleep. When I finish eating and approach the kitchen sink to wash my hands, I look up at the window and see the face of a sinister baboon peering into my window. And I scream like it's the last scream I will ever make in my mortal life, not unlike the end of Andy Peach, but more primordial and deafening as my vocal cords rattle my skull into concussion. That's when I wake up and I am completely paralyzed. Only exhaustion rests me back to sleep." Now, the baboon image is the stuff of nightmares, but the thread itself is at least pretty funny. If you keep scrolling through the thread, for some reason you're gonna find a lot of references to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air of all things. Satan's Sphinx. Some things on the internet were best left alone. Or that's at least what David G had to say when someone in 2009 asked on Yahoo Answers, of all place, about a film called Satan's Sphinx. They asked, "Satan's Sphinx, banned film, ? Does anyone know anything about the banned film Satan's Sphinx?" In which David replied, "Sometimes it's better to let sleeping dogs lay. There is a reason this movie was banned. Stop trying to find this movie." This seems to be the first ever mention online of Satan's Sphinx. But what exactly is it? Well, no one knows. Some say it's a snuff film. Others claim it was a part of MKUltra. The only real supposed link we have to this is an image of a boy and 2 masked men. Some say this was a real missing person, and this was the last photo ever taken of him. Now, time to break your hearts, because none of this is true. The photo? It's some creepy ass European tradition. You probably have heard of it by now. It's Krampus. The other jabroni is called Black Peter. Don't look up images of this around your black friends, because you're gonna see tons of blackface, and that's gonna start a very awkward conversation. Apparently, according to Redditors, this image is from a Czech book all about the holiday, though I couldn't get 100% confirmation on that. The original Yahoo thread? It's all David. The original question was asked anonymously, and considering the only answer from back then was from David, it seems, at least to me, pretty obvious that David was just responding to himself. Now, there are probably many videos from MKUltra or snuff films somewhere out there on the dark web, but Satan's Sphinx, sadly, isn't one of them. Help with advice. This is another YouTube channel with a description that reads, "These videos show some of what is being done to us. We need help in getting this stopped against us. If you want to see more photos, check out the Facebook page at Save Keys. Thank you for looking and watching." Their channel and videos are both really old, with the latest being uploaded in 2014. In these videos, they show what is allegedly happening to them from the Department of Defense. In their most popular video, clip throwing up while being tortured, in the description it reads, "After being beat on by an electronic signal for over 3 years, body couldn't take it anymore. Was tortured and pounded on by a pulse, which we also have on film. Still being hurt while throwing up. Farm couple being tortured to death by DoD defense system to cover up public corruption case. Farm couple needs help against black special ops team who broke special code of conduct against innocent civilians equals men, women, children, and animals. Any and all help would be appreciated. Thanks." Now, apparently their channel had many more videos that are no longer available. One was a 30-minute long video explaining the situation. A Redditor 9 years ago described it like this. The woman explains that they aren't living near any airports, but still, a lot of airplanes fly low and close to them, and that they were hit by a jet. Then she goes on explaining symptoms, how they are coughing blood, they are suffering infections on their bodies, and their eyes are swelling. Another set of videos that got removed was a playlist called Listening In on Someone Being Murdered. I would assume YouTube removed that one. So what do we have? Well, I think we have drug addicts living in filth, or at least paranoid schizophrenia. As many have pointed out in the comments of these videos, they are not living in the most sanitary environment. This could be the cause of the health issues, and drugs or an unchecked mental condition would lead them to believe that the government is trying to get them. It is kind of sad though, that their deterioration is being filmed and uploaded by themselves. Chip Chan. Chip Chan is just straight bizarre. This was a Korean woman that documented her normal life until around the mid-2000s, when things took a drastic turn. She started to get the feeling someone was stalking her wherever she went. That someone, she claimed, was a police officer. Soon, she would notice things in her apartments that were not where they should be. She claimed she would pass out and miss long lengths of time. In 2008, she set up a camera in her apartment and would live stream almost 24/7. In these streams, she would claim that the police officer, or P, had used a mind control weapon to control her by implanting a chip inside of her, hence the name Chip Chan. Also in these streams, she would fall asleep in extremely odd positions and remain asleep for very long times. This even led a lot of people to believe that she had died, only for her to eventually wake up. She said that these unconscious periods were caused by the chip that P can use whenever to make her sleep. Combine all of that with the messages that she wrote begging for help, and it's no wonder the internet became fascinated by her. Dedicated communities would arise to document and attempt to help her. This would go on for years. Each stream would get worse and worse. Her health would plummet, her living conditions got dirtier, and her mental states only declined. She would eventually stop streaming, and for a while, seemingly disappeared. Many thought that she got the mental help she needed, while others thought she passed away. From a couple Reddit threads, I found it seems neither of those are true. I found a channel called Mind Control Weapon, and a blog with the same name that are allegedly Chip Chan's. And looking through it, it appears so. The blog, once translated to English, seems to be the ramblings of someone not well in the head. The YouTube channel still uploads occasionally, mainly videos of police cars or garbage trucks that she claims are stalking her.
6604 종로 17. 오, 또 종로 17. 종로 17.
And also videos of her legs that are in rough shape. From what I found online, she is looked after by a brother, who is possibly P, and is well known by the police and her neighbors, who all do what they can to help. She seems to suffer heavily from schizophrenia, and it appears she's really resistant to any forms of help. She will probably continue to post blogs and videos until one day, it stops. Karat963. This is a YouTube channel that is still shrouded in mystery. The channel has multiple videos, and none of them make any sense. Every video is age restricted and has comments turned off. Some videos are creepy as hell.
Do not listen. Do not shout.
Some are just straight up insulting you. and others whisper sweet nothing to you.
I want to spend more time with you.
Now, the general consensus is that this is an ARG, but nothing has ever come from it. The last upload was in 2016. The only thing that people have gotten from this is that Kurat means devil in Estonian. This whole channel isn't that popular. The most viewed video only has 18k views. Maybe this was an ARG, but never got the response it wanted to continue. Or maybe it's just some weird artsy thing. All I know is it's creepy as all hell. John Lang. John Lang was a man who was allegedly killed by the Fresno police, and his death was seemingly covered up. It all goes back to 2009, when John discovered that the Fresno police would scan license plates of parked cars in private retail lots in low-income neighborhoods, really looking for any reason to give them a ticket. They would then go on to pull the driver over about a block or two away to basically optimize ticket revenue at minimal cost. John would then go on to try and expose the police department. This is the point he claims that the police started stalking him and either trying to set him up for a crime or get rid of him altogether. He would document all of this on Facebook and on his YouTube channel. He would then upload videos of police using thermal cameras on his house. He had footage of police trying to condition John's own dogs to not attack them. On his last video about a van strangely parked outside of his house, he wrote this in the description: "If I turn out missing or dead tomorrow, remember this van. I think I've seen a couple guys sneak out of the side door and into the building when it was parked in the carport this afternoon. I've been causing the city of Fresno a lot of problems recently, which I now regret." Leading up to his death, he would make many posts about being scared and worried that they are finally coming for him. On January 20th of 2016, John would be found dead inside his burning house with multiple stab wounds. His death would be ruled a suicide, with the cause being smoke inhalation. So it seems the police stalked and killed this man for exposing their money-making scheme, right? Probably not. To me, at least, after having went down a lot of rabbit holes, it seems like John was mentally unwell and probably actually did commit suicide. The stab wounds? Well, it was often reported he was stabbed in the back, which doesn't seem to be true. According to the official report, which, granted, believe it if you want to or not, he had 3 superficial stab wounds in his chest that he probably did to himself. Now, days before his death, from his own cameras, he could be seen walking around with a large knife and even showing it to the camera at one point. Now, I swear I have seen this footage somewhere. I just cannot for the life of me re-find it. I think it was in a Y-Files video, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm so positive that I've seen that footage somewhere. John's house was also barricaded from the inside, making it very difficult for anyone to get in. So unless these police are expert level ninjas, I'm not sure how they killed John, got out, and then barricaded it from the inside. The van filming with a thermal camera, that was just a regular recording camera. Nothing thermal about it. That area is apparently pretty common for filming. Well, at least compared to the rest of America. The white van in the last video was an actual company, registered with the Better Business Bureau. There's an entire rabbit hole you can go down with way more info than I have time for in an Iceberg video. But in my opinion, John was just mentally ill. Got lucky with the exposure of the license plate deal, then drowned himself in his own illusions. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What are you thinking? This was a video from at least 2009. It shows someone wearing a garbage bag with a mask. They then proceed to throw up, or maybe eat something, then hold a sign upside down that says, "What are you thinking?" The video itself isn't too creepy, but no one knows anything about this video. That's literally all we know. It could have been made by Epstein for all we know. All we have is just what you see. dolphinx.org. Take a wild guess at what this website is. No? It's not an informative learning experience about dolphins and their mating in the wild. It's a guide on how humans can do it with dolphins. Let me read you a quote from this website. Question 3. What do I do if a dolphin wants to mate with me? Answer 3. Accept, if possible. I will go through the steps involved with males and females. He then proceeds, in detail I might add, on how each dolphin shows they want to bang. It's pretty obvious to me that the dude who made this actually bangs dolphins. Now this site doesn't exist anymore and is only kept alive through word of mouth and archives, but it's still pretty messed up that there was an entire website at one point in the internet's history dedicated to help you bang dolphins. Yeah. Daily Capper. This was a depressing deep dive. So back in the early 2010s, there were literal groups of PDF files that would go around in search of underage girls streaming and try to make them do certain things. They call themselves cappers. They would go on to blackmail these girls with screenshots that they took from stream. If you remember the whole Amanda Todd incident from 2012, this is basically what happened. Now, the Daily Capper was a YouTube channel that treated this whole section of the internet like a news source and would report on all of it. Now, before you think this was a force of justice exposing these pedophiles, no, it wasn't. It just retold the highlights of the week.
Let's start with this past Thursday. Epic win was delivered in the form of 4 13-year-old girls from Blog TV Jr. and all for a room of 300. A hero went on cam and streamed their video for them. These girls remain the most talked about girls in the capping world.
The Daily Capper was just as bad as the rest of them. Now thankfully, this doesn't continue to go on, or at least not in public. Having only been so far down this iceberg, it definitely gets a lot worse. And from everything I've seen, it wouldn't surprise me if this still went on in the shadows of certain corners of the internet. Monkey hate. So at first, looking into this, I thought it was just people that hate monkeys and comment on videos about how much they hate monkeys, which is true. People do that, and it's honestly pretty funny. Like, there is dedicated communities to just hating on monkeys for some reason. And then I looked into it a little bit more, and it got darker and darker. There were, and probably still are, groups on the internet, even on YouTube and Facebook, that enjoy watching videos of baby and juvenile monkeys getting tortured. This got to be so notable that the BBC even investigated it and exposed a legit crime ring all around torturing monkeys. The investigation found hundreds of customers in the US and other nations had joined social media groups used to share this disturbing content, and were even paying to see the torture of monkeys, even requesting specific forms of abuse. There was one group known as the Apes Cage that had 400 members. They posted videos of baby monkeys in blenders, monkeys having power tools used on them, and other insane forms of torture. Now, according to something that I read on the internet, so, when people just go on the internet and tell lies, the reason for the hate is 1, they are just psychopaths, and 2, they have an unnatural hatred for pregnant women and babies, and baby monkeys are the closest thing. You can still find videos of monkeys being tortured on YouTube, but, don't say mean words. Septic 5. We're deep in the internet now, boys. If I had to watch this, so do you. This is a video of a man in what looks to be like a gimp suit, sitting in a septic tank full of dookie. And yes, he dunks his head in, just for the love of the game. Now, it's never been confirmed who this degenerate is. Plenty of theories, but nothing concrete. There were even rumors that Septic Man had died, again with no proof. But what is true is that this is Septic 5, which means there's Septic 1 through 4 out there, just waiting for you to watch, so you can get the complete lore. Blood over intent. This was a satanic cult on YouTube that was started by a man named Mark Braun, who claimed he was the reincarnation of Satan. I don't think that's how that works, but okay. and that he had a book of life. If your name was in the book, you were spared of suffering in the afterlife. The only way to get into the book was to do the blood over intent ritual. The ritual is really dumb. You just have to spill your blood on some paper with a little phrase, and I guess then you're in. That's all you have to do. But the important part is that you have to make a YouTube video about it because, you know, dad ad revenue. No, really, they had you like record the video and uploaded it, and apparently the higher ups would monitor and keep tabs on everyone in the cult. Now, any normal human would see this for what it is: cringy, edgelord type behavior. But you'd be surprised how popular it was and still is. Just typing blood over intent in the search bar and search by this year, you can find videos still being uploaded of people doing this dumbass ritual. But I mean, hey, at least this cult isn't flying to an island with kids, as far as I know. Ruru-chan, 1999. This was the name of a Japanese streamer back in the early 2010s. She originally started off streaming by singing, playing piano, and just chatting with viewers. As she got more popular, her streams started to change. She began doing more dangerous stunts, such as literally playing in traffic and standing on very high ledges. She would also start to behave more erratically, often breaking down on streams. The apparent cause of this change in her mental state was believed to be because of bullying and her bad relationship with her mother. This would all culminate on November 24th, 2013, where at the age of 14, she would go to the 13th floor of her apartment building, and on stream, she would jump off to her death. Days before this, she would write, "I think it's good to do a suicide stream, because I was a normal, cute girl today too. So if I die, people will be surprised. If I suddenly start a suicide stream, I'll definitely be a legend." So I kept on thinking, and I couldn't stop myself. Let's do it today. Let's do it today. But I'm still scared. I'm brainwashed, so suicide is... So I hesitated. That's why I'm writing here. It's great. Thank goodness. I was scared. It was scary. If I spoil it all out here, it will be okay. Now, if you look hard enough, you can find the video. Of course, I will not be showing that for obvious reasons, but it seems like she had had enough of the bullying and family drama, and decided, in her own words, to become an internet legend. If she had been a 70-year-old, I might respect going out on your own terms, but not when you're 14, with so much life ahead of you. Hopefully her death at least stopped or helped someone going through something similar. And if that's the case, then she truly was a legend. Carpet sample. This is like the Ed Gein of the furry community. Carpet sample was the nickname given to Shadow Wolfus, along with apparently like 900 nicknames. Like, this guy had so many. But the reason he had this nickname Carpet sample was because of his monstrosity of a fursuit that was patched together with plushies that he banged and dropped loads into. He would then cut them out and stitch them all together to give you this work of art. Not only was it absolutely terrifying, but it reportedly smelled disgusting. People claimed that you would smell him before you ever saw him. And he also banged animals and bragged about it online. Since I had to learn about this, so do you. On his beast form profile, he wrote, "Hey all you other zoos, I love to screw large willing dogs. I also love to be knotted by my medium-sized dogs. But I have taken my Dane Tawny's 8-inch up my... I'll accept his 4-inch knot. Ouch. If you do also, and have pics, please PM." He's also a pedophile because why fucking not? Just add that to the resume apparently. And it's not like he was young. This mistake of a human was born in the 50s. Fucking baby boomers, man. LOL talking fetus. I'm really starting to lose my faith in humanity here, boys. We're getting into the dog days. This is a very old YouTube video about a guy, I think, in a bathtub with blood and needles around, holding a bucket with a stillborn fetus inside. He then starts playing with it. I've only ever seen parts of this video, and it's all censored, but apparently the dude is naked and is laughing in the full thing. He then goes on to upload the video and titles it LOL talking fetus. I think I'm just done with humanity. I think I'm just gonna check out. This is getting ridiculous. Beanbag Adventure. Beanbag Adventure was a Chinese TikToker, or should I say Douyin, their version of TikTok. But I'll just stick with TikToker because it sounds better. He was an urban explorer and often went to weird and creepy abandoned places. In early 2022, he was exploring an abandoned building. When the stench got so bad, he was able to follow it all the way down to the basement, where he would make a very disturbing discovery. He found a dark pool of liquid, and inside of it were the bodies of multiple decomposing children. In the video, at first, he claims they were just movie props, probably so the video wouldn't instantly get nuked. Now, this crazy bastard wouldn't let this be the end of it. He ended up coming back later that year and showed even more. This time, he found bottles, children's clothes, and a tarp over the pool. When he looked inside the pool, the bodies seemed to be even more decayed. Now, any normal sane human would just nope out of there right away. But this man made a third trip a couple days later. This trip, he went further in and found bags of bones and fetuses in jars. After this, his account got removed, and everyone naturally thought that the CCP, or the Chinese Communist Party, if you're not hip with today's lingo, but everyone thought that the CCP took him out. But his account eventually popped back up, just like it was, but without those videos. And it appears, from what I could tell, he hasn't mentioned those videos since. To me, he probably did get a visit from the CCP, or someone in the government, and was told to delete the videos and never talk about it, or we really will come get your ass. So what's the deal with this? There are a lot of theories. Let's start off with the location. I see a couple places constantly brought up. The first is an air raid shelter of a medical college in China. The other location is a place in Vietnam. The one that I lean towards is the Hagen's Plastination Company in Dalian. Listen, I probably messed that up, but my Mandarin is no bueno. But we'll get back to the location here in one sec. There have been multiple theories to try and explain these bodies. One is that it's all just a hoax. Beanbag could have just faked it all for them views. Two, it's the work of a serial killer. Unlikely due to the amount of victims, but I just got thrown in there. It's always a possibility. Three, the CCP is involved in organ harvesting and dumped the bodies here. Also unlikely. They wouldn't leave evidence, and the way the bodies were found doesn't really sit with organ harvesting. But the last theory is the one I personally subscribe to, is that it has to do with plastination, or a technique used in anatomy to preserve bodies or body parts. And that's where this Hagen Plastination Company comes in. This place was getting corpses from crematoriums and even the government itself. Not like the big CCP government, but like smaller local governments. And they were getting these bodies all under the table. There is a lot of money in plastination. Bodies need to be preserved and shown for medical studies and other things. The company would eventually dip out of China in 2012. In doing so, they left the bodies as they were, just waiting to be found. Or at least that's the theory that I lean towards. It's either the leftover bodies from a corpse farm or a hoax. What do you guys think? Let me know down there below. Curious to see. Dr. Gloves. If you've ever had a fear of going to the hospital, I'd recommend you skip this one. In the early 2010s, a man in what appears to be a GIMP mask, gloves, and coveralls would start uploading some of the most disgusting content I've ever seen on the internet. He would post photos of himself playing with the dead bodies of infants, pretending to choke them out, and just holding them as if they were some kind of toy. And it wasn't just the bodies that he played with. it was also the brains. And he didn't stop at the dead bodies. No, he took photos with the live ones as well. He would take young children who were usually unconscious or just not capable of knowing what was going on and mess with them by holding their nose, messing with their eyes, pulling their hair, and pretending to mutilate them. That's only some of what this fucking loser has done. I know the police are actively looking into this, and it seems that he may have gotten caught or is on the verge of it. Hopefully they just take him out back and just shoot him. Save everyone's time. What does B keep in the freezer? This is talking about a thread on 4chan from many moons ago, where OP asked, what does B keep in the freezer? Guess what's in mine? A couple people would go on to guess, and one of them eventually got it right when they answered, a body. OP then posted a photo of a severed leg and said, well done. He then goes on to post 2 more photos, one of the legs in a trash bag, and one with his arm and the date written on it to prove this is all legit. And that was the last we heard from him. There are a couple theories to explain this. Number 1, serial killer. Wouldn't be a first for the internet, but unlikely. 2, OP was involved in something with the medical field that would allow him to have access to these kind of body parts. Or 3, these are his own legs that he had amputated and is keeping them to have them framed as a conversational piece in his home. Me, personally, I'm going with theory number 2, but I wouldn't put it past someone from 4chan to have their legs amputated and then keep them for some weird reason. Mr. Sleepy People. Mr. Sleepy People was a YouTuber with 2.3k subs before he eventually deleted his channel. He had hit classics on his channel like Bree, Drunk and Passed Out, Part 5, Bree's Sexy Eyes, Part 2, and Lovely Big Brown Eyes, Check 2, and probably the most infamous one, Quick Sleepy Eye Check Lick. This lunatic would either get his friends so drunk they pass out, or he's drugging them, and once passed out, he would play around with their face, opening their eyes, and even licking their eyeball. And of course, like everything weird on the internet, it was a fetish. And there was even a small, dedicated community around these videos. These people have something called somnophilia, which is where you get turned on by an unconscious person. Looking more into this, I found he had a video called Rem Lil Sis. Sadly, this isn't a one-off. This guy's channel may be gone, but the community as a whole is still lurking around. Like almost everything else on this iceberg, if you know the right keywords, you can access it on YouTube. Some of the more darker videos around this fetish had children in them. It's a little weird how many extremely niche fetishes are just hiding in corners of YouTube. DJ Deaf Joey. On today's episode of Bad Unboxing, this deaf guy opens up his great grandma's casket and gives it a little bit of a smooch. Stay tuned for more. Yeah. Over 15 years ago, this deaf guy named Joey, who's also a DJ, just casually has a corpse in his backyard and gives it little kisses every so often. Now, I'm not going to show you the unblurred video because I don't know if this is a real body or not, but it's very easy to find. And it's not just one video that he has. He has a couple where he gives it little smooches. And he also owns a couple real human skulls and one's haunted. So yeah, of course. Now about the real corpse and his videos. I don't know if it's real or not. I still see people arguing about this to this day. But if I had to guess, I would say it's probably not, even though it is very realistic. The reason I say it's probably fake is because 1, the video has millions of views and it's still up. I would assume YouTube would have at least tried to crack down on that. 2, he's obviously a fan of ghosts and ghouls and scary things, and he likes to joke around. Just by looking around his channel and checking out some of his other videos, he definitely likes to partake in the gaffes and goofs. But it's not confirmed either way that this is a corpse or not, or this is all a joke or not. So either Joey kisses dead bodies, or he has a very realistic prop. For Tiger Area Water Edition.
Hey kid, you wanna see a dead body?
In a 35-second video about an early 2000s aesthetic, about halfway through, there's just a dead body floating downstream. Probably not what you'd expect if you were wanting to feel like it's the early 2000s again. But I think I've seen enough dead bodies and things today, so I'm gonna go pray.